You want your bike to last forever? Most riders kill theirs without realizing it, not with crashes with daily habits. The truth, a handful of little-known routines can add decades to your engine, while skipping them quietly grinds it down. Today, we're counting down 9 longevity secrets. Riders rarely use cold start habits that stop 90% of wear, fuel tricks that protect your pump, storage moves that prevent internal rust, and the riding mistake that's wrecking big twins coast to coast. Staying at number 1, it's the single service most riders skip, and it's the reason great engines die young. Let's start at number 9. Number 9, warm up your engine wisely. One of the fastest ways to wear down a motorcycle engine is by revving it hard when it's still cold. About 90% of engine wear happens during cold starts before the oil has fully circulated. The metal internals are dry and vulnerable in those first moments. Yet many riders hit the starter, hear it fire, and immediately crack the throttle. That's a recipe for grinding friction and micro-scoring on pistons and bearings. The smart habit is simple. Start the bike, let it idle for 30 to 60 seconds, and then ride gently for the first few miles. Don't sit and idle forever, that just causes fuel dilution, but avoid any heavy throttle until the oil has reached operating temperature. Fuel-injected bikes especially like a short idle and light load warm-up, not high RPM. Using a full synthetic oil helps too, as it flows quickly at low temps. Treat your engine gently during that first minute, and you'll dramatically cut cold start wear. Number 8. Avoid frequent short trips. Another hidden engine killer, repeated short rides. Quick 5-minute hops to the store don't let the engine or exhaust fully heat up, which traps moisture and fuel residue inside. That moisture can condense into the crankcase and mix with the oil, forming acidic sludge that corrodes internals. It also never gets hot enough to recharge the battery, slowly draining it. Mechanics warn that moisture from cold starts condenses where water does not belong if the engine isn't brought to full operating temp. Try to group errands or take a longer route so each ride lasts 20 to 30 minutes. That gives the oil time to burn off contaminants and the battery time to recharge. If you only do short trips, change oil more often and keep the battery on a tender. Engines that never stretch their legs will slowly rust and sludge from the inside. Number 7. Keep your bike clean and rust-free. Neglecting cleaning is one of the quietest ways to shorten a motorcycle's life. U.S. roads throw up grime, rain, and in many regions, corrosive road salt. Salt left on chrome, aluminum, or steel will chew through it. Before long storage or after a salty ride, always give your bike a deep wash and wax. Bug guts and mud can trap moisture against paint and metal. Use a mild cleaner on metal surfaces and follow up with a corrosion protectant spray on exposed bolts, spokes, and frame rails. Then cover the bike with a breathable cover, not a plastic tarp, to shield from dust and humidity without trapping moisture. UV rays can also degrade plastics and seals, so protection is key. Keeping your motorcycle clean isn't just cosmetic. It prevents rust on the frame, chain, engine cases, and electrical connections, and makes it easier to spot leaks or cracks early. Number 6. Take care of your chain and drivetrain. Many riders cruise thousands of miles with barely a thought about their chain. That's a mistake. An unlubed, loose chain wears fast and can even snap, potentially locking the rear wheel or cracking the engine case. At minimum, inspect the chain before rides. Check slack, tension, and any stiff links. Clean it every few hundred miles using kerosene or a proper cleaner to remove grit. Then lube it while warm so the oil penetrates the O-rings. Keep it at the tension listed in your owner's manual. Too loose will slap and wear. Too tight will strain the gearbox bearings. Riders who maintain their chain every 500 miles often get triple the life from it. And it's not just about the chain. A clean, aligned drivetrain puts less shock on your engine and transmission. Shaft and belt drives need less work, but should still be inspected for play or cracks. Neglecting the chain is one of the fastest ways to shorten a bike's lifespan. Number 5. Refresh all fluids on schedule. Neglecting minor fluids quietly destroys motorcycles over time, and it's a mistake most riders don't even realize they're making. Everyone remembers oil changes, but the other fluids, brake fluid, coolant, and fork oil are just as critical for keeping your bike alive for the long haul. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture from the air. Over time, that water corrodes the inside of brake lines, master cylinders, and calipers. It also lowers the fluid's boiling point, which can cause brake fade under hard stops. Skipping this service lets corrosion eat your braking system from the inside out. The fix is simple. Flush and replace brake fluid every 2 years without fail. Coolant is another overlooked fluid that turns acidic as it ages. Old coolant loses its anti-corrosion additives, allowing rust and scale to build inside your water pump, radiator, and cooling passages. This hidden decay can lead to overheating or catastrophic leaks. Change coolant every 2 to 3 years to keep internal parts safe. Even fork oil, something many riders never touch, breaks down after about 20,000 miles. Dirty fork oil can't protect seals or bushings, causing leaks and sloppy suspension. Do these fluid changes especially before winter storage so contaminated fluids aren't sitting inside. Use high-quality fluids, synthetic oil, and proper motorcycle coolant to give your bike the best defense against corrosion, heat stress, and seal wear. Number 4. Use quality fuel and don't run on fumes. Bad fueling habits can destroy longevity. Cheap gas with low detergents leaves carbon deposits, and ethanol blends pull in moisture that corrodes fuel systems, especially in older carb bikes. When storing the bike for more than a few weeks, always use a fuel stabilizer, or better yet, ethanol-free fuel if available. Another overlooked trick: don't ride constantly on near empty. The fuel cools and lubricates the in-tank fuel pump. Running the tank dry or frequently hitting reserve overheats the pump and stirs up sediment from the bottom. Also, an empty tank rusts from inside. Keep it at least 1/4 full during normal use and full with stabilizer during long storage. Clean, stable fuel and a full tank keep your pump, injectors, and engine running strong for decades. Number 3. Store it properly. During the off-season, improper winter storage ruins thousands of bikes every year. Simply parking it for months invites corrosion, dead batteries, and clogged fuel. Instead, prep it. Change the oil, fill the tank, and add stabilizer. Wash and wax the bike, and keep the battery on a maintainer. Cover it with a breathable cover and plug the exhaust to keep critters out. A critical secret: don't just start it once in a while, unless you're going to ride it long enough to get fully hot. Starting and idling in a garage only creates condensation inside and leaves raw fuel on cylinder walls. Either ride it for 20+ minutes or leave it winterized and untouched. Also inflate the tires to correct pressure or use stands to prevent flat spots. Storing it clean, full, and dry is the difference between a bike that wakes up perfectly in spring and one that slowly corrodes in silence. Number 2. Don't lug the engine. Riding in a high gear at very low RPM while applying heavy throttle is one of the most misunderstood habits among US riders, especially cruiser and touring bike owners. It feels smooth and quiet, so many assume it's easier on the engine. In reality, it's doing the opposite. When you lug the engine, you're forcing it to produce a lot of power while it's barely turning. This spikes cylinder pressure and combustion heat while the oil pump is spinning too slowly to fully protect moving parts. The result is brutal stress on pistons, connecting rods, bearings, and valve train components. It also increases the risk of detonation. Violent, uncontrolled combustion that hammers the piston crowns and can crack ringlands over time. Instead, you should downshift and keep the engine in its power band where it runs smoothly, with enough RPM for strong oil flow. A well-lubricated engine spinning around 3,000 RPM will last far longer than one chugging at 1,200 RPM under load. Don't confuse low RPM with gentle treatment. Lugging is silent abuse. Use the right gear, keep your revs steady and strong, not screaming, but never straining, and your engine will reward you with years of reliable life. Number 1. Don't skip. Major scheduled maintenance. The biggest secret of all: do the major maintenance most riders avoid. Chief among these is valve clearance adjustments. Tight valves eventually burn, loose valves hammer cams, and both can destroy an engine. Every bike lists an inspection interval often around every 10,000 to 20,000 miles, and skipping it is gambling with your motor's life. Likewise, check steering head bearings, wheel bearings, suspension fluid, and air filters on schedule. Many riders ignore these until something fails. Instead, make an annual habit of a full inspection or a pro checkup. Catching small leaks, frayed hoses, or worn bearings early can prevent catastrophic damage. The truth is simple. Bikes that hit 100,000 plus miles do so because their owners never skip the big stuff. Follow your manual to the letter, and your motorcycle will last decades.